and citizens of Omaha. I am honored to present my 10th State of the City address today, and I believe that there is every reason to be optimistic about our great city. Cities never stand still. They either are growing and moving forward, or they are declining and falling behind. And I am proud to report that Omaha, now the country's 39th largest city, is indeed growing and moving forward. We are on the right track to make Omaha an even safer city, on the right track to rebuild our urban core, to bring new businesses, jobs, and housing to downtown and to midtown, on the right track to open new venues for education, entertainment, and recreation, all connected with a modern streetcar, on track to open up a state-of-the-art central library and plan for the future of our library system based on community input, on track with our long-term strategy to improve our aging streets for vehicles, bikes, and pedestrians, and reduce traffic deaths with a Vision Zero strategy. On track to complete the distribution of federal pandemic aid to help Omaha's families and businesses. We are making a positive difference, enhancing the quality of life for everyone in Omaha. The success of our city depends on public safety, and that is always our first priority. Omaha is a safe city. We are experiencing stable or declining crime rates, just as many cities throughout our country are experiencing just the opposite. In 2022, violent crime was down in nearly every category, including homicide, rape, and robbery. And over the last 3 years, the number of homicides and gun assaults have decreased annually. In the first 80 days of 2023, we have not had a single homicide in Omaha, a trend we hope continues. ABC News recently reported on Omaha's success in reducing gun violence. The story described Omaha as a model for other cities experiencing high crime rates and properly credited our partnership with local organizations such as Omaha 360. Kansas City is now implementing the 360 model, recognizing the success of police-community relationships. In fact, over 30 cities in the United States are now planning visits to Omaha to see our success and if it could work in their cities too. I am proud of the role our police department is playing in encouraging this trend. The Omaha Police Department is consistently a leader in the nation with a homicide clearance rate well above the national average. However, there is a public safety challenge that we must address. Recruiting for police officers is difficult right now. The number of applicants is significantly down compared to past years. It is a concerning trend in law enforcement across the entire country. We have worked hard in the past 10 years to hire more police officers. We are budgeted for 906 officers. That's an increase of 102 since I became mayor. However, we are currently staffed at 831 officers, which includes our recruit class that is now in training. The current class of 34 recruits will graduate this summer, and another recruit class will start later on this year. But to attract more qualified candidates, we will begin negotiations with the Omaha Police Officers Association to raise officers' salaries. We must offer higher competitive salaries. We are the biggest in Nebraska, and we have to remain the best. Other public safety priorities this year include expanding the mental health co-responder program and restorative justice initiative, planning for a new police and fire safety headquarters, designing a new fire station in northwest Omaha, and implementing the new plan for our fleet emergency fire vehicles to replace them. As our city grows and the calls for emergency services increase, we must always have up-to-date, safe, and reliable apparatus to provide the best fire and emergency medical response possible. This replacement plan anticipates continued growth and demand for service. And at the end of April, 7 new medic units will be in service. For the last 7 years, Chief Dan Olson has served as our chief. Chief Olson will retire Friday. after serving the citizens of Omaha for 30 years. During his tenure as chief, he supervised the design and construction of Omaha's first new fire station in 22 years. Station 31 opened at 34th and Q Street in July. We have reinstated numerous medic units and other apparatus that had been taken out of service with a previous administration. He proposed a fleet replacement program and prioritized health and wellness programs, including protocols and new equipment to protect our firefighters. Thank you, Chief Olson, for your career and service. And Dan, wherever you are, could you please stand? There he is. And also, I want to welcome incoming Fire Chief Kathy Bossman. Kathy? There she is. She's highly qualified as a firefighter, a paramedic, and a manager. Chief Bossman shares my expectations for excellence in public safety, service to our citizens, and firefighter safety. To reach our city's potential, Omaha must reaffirm and reinforce the urban core's historic role as a cultural, residential, and employment heart of the region. The streetcar will do that. It will reduce our need for parking and create residential and commercial density we need for continued growth in our urban core. To build and operate the streetcar, no property tax rate increase is required, no sales tax or any other new tax, and no funding will be diverted from other city projects. Only revenue from income-producing commercial property within the corridor will be used, so only those who benefit from the streetcar will pay for the construction. The cost and projected revenues have been studied by independent experts, including public finance consulting firm Municap. The extensive and thorough review not only validates our revenue projections, it far exceeds the $306 million cost to build the streetcar. We will use the additional revenue to invest in affordable housing in our urban core. Many in our community face the daunting task of affordable housing. This is a very serious challenge that many stakeholders, including the City of Omaha, are working very hard to address. Omaha has been studying the benefits of the streetcar for decades, and it will create development. A new analysis produced by HDR studied 10 cities with streetcars. All 10 recorded new development, which creates new jobs. We haven't even started construction of the streetcar yet, and already we have nearly $1 billion in new development planned along the route, including Mutual of Omaha's new headquarters and the redevelopment of its current campus at Midtown. So it is time to move aggressively forward with the project, and we are. Creating an environment for business growth and job creation is a top priority in my administration. Over the past 5 years, more than $4 billion in development has been completed, planned, or is underway. Now we add Mutual of Omaha to this impressive list of development partnerships. The skyline-changing, city-changing project is part of our promising future for the urban core as a center for business and commerce, urban living, entertainment, learning, and recreation. The list of new development in downtown and midtown is impressive. The riverfront parks, the Luminarium, the Mercantile, the Millworks District, the Builders District, Blackstone, the Capitol District, Steelhouse Omaha, Creighton University, and UNMC Saddle Creek Campus and Project Next. They will all be connected with the streetcar. And in May, we will see the design for the Civic Auditorium development on the Planning Board agenda. We also look forward to continued development at Heartwood Preserve in West Omaha and the completion of streets through the Crossroads sites yet this year, preparing for the next phase of construction at the Crossroads. The citizens of Omaha greatly appreciate our public libraries. We have an opportunity of a lifetime for a greatly enriched Omaha public library system, an effort largely funded by our very generous philanthropic partners. Heritage Omaha is closing in on its fundraising goal to build a new central library at 72nd and Dodge Street at a total cost of $150 million. The city's contribution is $20 million. When the library is complete, this will be city-owned and staffed with city employees. It will incorporate the valued technology of DoSpace with the traditional library services and new features that library patrons have been asking for. This month, the Library Board of Trustees and City Council will consider agreements to temporarily offer DoSpace services at the Abrahams Library at 90th and Fort to prepare for construction of the Central Library. And I urge you to support this important step. Heritage is also funding a review of our entire library system to create recommendations for long-term facility improvements. This work is guided by community input through neighborhood meetings, community open houses, and public surveys. The new downtown library branch at 1401 Jones Street will open up in May in a unique historic building accessible with a new Metro bus stop and Heartland Bike Share Station. There is often public discourse when development threatens history. There is a place for both, with development and preservation in our city. We must work together to find a common ground and solutions that accomplish many goals. The new downtown library is spectacular, and I cannot wait for opening day. Our 3 riverfront parks will be completed this year, a very exciting time for our city. The Jean Leahy Mall opened up last July 1st with a performance pavilion, sculpture garden, amazing playground, and a dog park. The new Heartland of America Park and Lewis and Clark Landing will open up midsummer, and they will all be connected. The Kiewit Luminarium opens up in April. Omaha Performing Arts Steelhouse will follow in May. An important measure of our growth in our city are building permits. Since my first term started in June of 2013 through the end of last year, we have issued more than 165,000 permits for a total value of $9.5 billion. So you can see a lot is going on in Omaha. This is not beer, although I'd like it to be. In 2022 alone, we issued 18,000 permits worth more than $1.1 billion in valuation. With more economic activity and a broader tax base, we can continue our strong record of keeping our city's property tax rate as low as we possibly can. During my 3 terms, we have lowered the tax rate 3 times. The city receives just 21% of your property tax bill. It is our responsibility to spend your money carefully, and we do. In 2020, we made a major commitment to improve our streets when the voters approved the $200 million street bond issue. This year, there are 80 new projects on the list for street resurfacing and repair, concrete reconstruction, and brick street restoration. With careful spending, skilled management of our budget, paying off bonds early, and refinancing bonds, we still have not implemented the 3.5 penny voter approved property tax rate increase. And that was voted on by the voters when they voted for the street bond issue. This summer, we will present our Vision Zero action plan to the City Council for approval. Vision Zero represents a comprehensive approach to eliminate traffic deaths and serious injuries. This is accomplished through long-term changes in design, construction, and signage for streets, intersections, pedestrian paths, and other modes of transportation. We have joined 40 other communities in the United States and many others worldwide in our Vision Zero commitment. Last year, 45 people died in crashes in Omaha, more than those killed in gun violence. We must work to reduce and eliminate traffic deaths, and I appreciate the many individuals and organizations that are working hard to make that goal a reality. For 3 years now, we have been dealing with one of the largest public health crises in our history. In May, the Biden administration will lift the COVID-19 national and public health emergencies, one sign that the pandemic is finally behind us. Most of us have returned to everyday lives, and our distribution of federal assistance funds are winding down. But more than 15,000 households in 33 Omaha zip codes have benefited from the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, or otherwise known as ERAP. And I want to repeat that, 15,000 Omaha households in 33 Omaha zip codes. We have provided almost $86 million in rent payments and $9 million in utility assistance. Thank you to our partners, Match, for managing this program, and that has allowed so many people to remain in their homes through the pandemic. Through the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, we have received just over $112 million directly to the city. Our largest ARPA investment is a partnership with Front Porch Investments to create and preserve affordable housing and to support access to affordable housing for renters, home buyers, and homeowners. We are also supporting our hotel and tourism industry, improving park and public spaces, and providing grants to business improvement districts. Over 50 local nonprofit organizations that provide services including mental health, job training and employment, violence prevention, and access to shelter and food have been our partners. So I want to thank our partners, United Way of the Midlands, led by Shauna Forsberg, and Omaha Community Foundation President Donna Cush, for coordinating the applications for these awards. If you two are here, could you please stand? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are making a direct impact on the citizens of Omaha. Like the family of 7 needing help with groceries after one parent lost their job. Together Pantries program offered immediate help. Or the elderly woman coming to Together in tears because she could only afford to eat once a day. Imagine her gratitude when Together provided the food she needed thanks to a $100,000 grant from our ARPA funds. The pandemic created greater need for mental health services. An ARPA grant provided an opportunity to expand the Methodist Community Counseling Program. A student with a history of addiction, arrest, and paranoia and psychosis now receives regular counseling and has joined the support group and has set a career goal. My client feels like a new person, and for the first time, he has hope for the future, said his Methodist counselor. And there are many similar stories. Methodist community counselors conducted more than 8,600 sessions last year, a 16% increase over the year before. Certainly a measure of increased need and our response. The Methodist Community Counseling Program and Together are examples of the network of support available in Omaha. Many of the nonprofit agencies that received ARPA funds are here today. Could you please help me recognize these agencies, staff, and volunteers for making a difference one person at a time? Could you please stand if you are here that have been working with us, the nonprofits? Thank you all. We have completed the hotel stimulus program that is intended to help restart our important tourism industry. This program funded hotel expansions and upgrades that were delayed during the pandemic or improvements to mitigate or prevent infection. This is a true stimulus plan. In 2022, and this is important for all of us to realize, our hotels reported a $251 million in revenue, and that's an all-time high. So you can see that the pandemic is behind us. This spring, you will see construction work beginning in a lot of our city parks. Based on public feedback, we designated $10 million to improve access and safety, upgrade park equipment, and create new opportunities for recreation. This year, we are expanding our commitment to prevent and to end homelessness. We created a new position, a homeless service coordinator, to work with the many excellent programs that we have in Omaha that offer assistance and opportunities to help individuals and families that are now experiencing homelessness. Tamara Dwyer's personal and professional experience with homeless and housing instability gives her a unique expertise to help make people successful and to help them with transitions from homelessness to safe housing, employment, health care, and other necessities. Current estimates show that there are approximately 1,300 people in Omaha that may be homeless in the metro area, and 160 may be living on the streets. We can all agree that this is not acceptable. The solution will take time, and we won't end homelessness unless we have a stronger prevention program. Our first steps include assistance to veterans, homeless veterans, a strong street outreach program to respond to reports of unsheltered people, expansion of the existing multi-agency task force to create and follow through with a strategy that includes shelter, employment, access to education and childcare, and other services. We will also plan to create a housing relocation plan to provide immediate help after a disaster or sudden loss of housing, such as in the evacuation of Legacy Crossing last December. Since then, 126 tenants are now living in safe housing, and there are only 33 that are still living in temporary housing. Thank you to Mindy Paces and the Heartland Family Services team for supporting these families. Last month, we announced federal and city funding towards the first phase of the North 24th Street Streetscape Master Plan. The work addresses infrastructure and improvements in the North 24th Street Business Improvement District. This work will tie in with Carmen Tapio's plan to develop the northeast corner of 24th and Lake, relocate her company, North End Teleservices, and further redefine that historic intersection. Last year, HUD awarded Omaha and our partners a $50 million federal grant to redevelop the Southside Terrace Garden Apartment and the Indian Hill neighborhood in South Omaha. This is an opportunity for us to create lasting change in this neighborhood, and we thank HUD for supporting our team and our plan to create hope and opportunity for new, better quality of life. This is a commitment to affordable housing, education, and access to health care. It is an example of how we can change and adapt to the needs of our community and its residents. Creative proposals for development and community betterment in North and South Omaha have their best chance for success in decades. I am optimistic about the potential that these historic and diverse areas in our cities have with the state of Nebraska's $335 million allocation for Economic Recovery Grant Program. The city is participating in the planning process, and we are prepared to do our part to make sure that this state program is a long-term success. We are moving ahead with a climate action and resilience plan following the City Council's approval of the consulting contract with Pale Blue Dot and their partner, Omaha-based HDR. The plan will include implementation and monitoring strategies and recommendations to fund the plan. Curbside and drop-off location recycling continues to increase since our new collection contract started in late 2020. Recycling is now up 31% in Omaha since we switched from the bins to the carts. We are providing the industry gold standard in collection and recycling now in Omaha, and I am proud that our residents are for recycling as much as they are. I am also pleased that FCC uses compressed natural gas on all of their trucks. Last month, we announced the EPA and HUD funding of $34 million to continue our lead cleanup programs in Omaha's Superfund site, which is the largest Superfund site in the entire country. We are making excellent progress to remediate lead in the soil and paint, resulting in safer and healthier homes for families, especially children. At the end of last year, soil testing has been completed in 42,000 properties, and cleanup has been completed in more than 13,000 properties. There are still an estimated 164 properties to test and 562 to be remediated still. and a statistic that shows the most important result, and that is the percentage of children with elevated blood lead levels has fallen from 36% in Omaha to less than 2%. So you can see we're making a big difference. So as I said before, Omaha is on the right track, defined by our ability to work together, to collaborate, to innovate, and to overcome challenges to build a strong foundation for our future. Omaha is a great place, and we are in a great place. The city is positioned for greater promise, all tied together with an enduring and positive community spirit. And it's all because of all of you. Thank you all for being here today.